Welcome to the Cruise Retreat podcast. My name is Rita M. Perez, and I'm a triple certified travel advisor. But more importantly, I coordinate all the logistics to bring your online community offline through world travel. If you've been yearning to put together a group trip, but overwhelmed with all the details that come with planning, I and this podcast are here to help. Ready to transform lives on the open waters of the world? Let's get started. Hello everyone. Hopefully your day is going well. I was going to say I haven't had a bad day. It's actually been a pretty good day. But if you've been catching me on my stories recently, you know that it's been pretty heavy the past couple of weeks. Not like heavy. There's just been a lot of stuff going on. A lot of trials and tribulations and self-reflection. And I think travel and the state of travel right now is a really great reflection of that. And I'm also wondering too if that's why like things have felt so heavy for me. So I don't know. I did a poll on my Instagram stories and it seems like other people are feeling that way very similarly right now. So in my travel advisor community, there has been a post that has kind of gone viral that a flight attendant recently posted about what the reality of traveling is right now, specifically travel that involves air. And it is very challenging to say the least. So I just wanted to let you be aware of a couple things that are going on, but also give you a couple pointers and a couple tips to help make traveling this summer a little bit easier for you. And why is this happening? And I've talked a little bit about this before. It's a combination of things. One, it's summertime, so everybody's going on vacation now. Two, everybody's going on vacation now, especially because we have been pent up for the past couple of years and everybody's starting to feel comfortable going out, exploring the world again. And three, the hospitality industry, which I have my degree in hospitality management, if you didn't know. And I worked in hospitality management, I want to say 16 years. Like that's the majority in me being in travel is technically being hospitality management. Historically has not been the best work culture environment, has not been a people first environment. And when everything with the pandemic started, dropped their people like nothing. Started firing, laying off, furloughing people like nothing. And so I know there have been a lot of judgments about like people need jobs, there's nobody to work, blah, 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 blah. But until you've been in that situation where you have dedicated your life to a company, even if that company really hasn't treated you well, that sudden drop of today you have a job and tomorrow you don't, without very little explanation other than world events and all that, I will relate it to dating. What if somebody just like dropped you, like things are going fantastic, you guys love each other, maybe you're not loving each other just yet, but you're going out, going on dates, this person is like showing you so much affection, putting in effort, then just yanks it from you. While I would like to think that you're not necessarily, and I know we're all humans and all that, people got burned. People got burned and they don't want to go back to a situation where that happened, one, and where there's the possibility of that happening again, because that's just the nature of the hospitality industry. If nobody's traveling, especially as we're facing a very slowish, I'm not really sure if that's the right term, of a recession, like there's not a lot of people that want to go back knowing that there's not real certainty in working in the industry. So this whole claim that people don't want to work and blah, 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 it's not that. People don't want to work for you. That's my biggest argument. And people don't want to work for companies that are still very old school in mentality. Like we're not in the 50s anymore. We're not in the 50s anymore. We're not in the 60s anymore. So we've got like hospitality companies need to shift and change their mindset and really become more people first organizations so that they can not only retain the amazing employees that work for them currently, but also that they can attract new employees to their companies and businesses to work for them and to provide amazing guest service, customer service to the people that they serve. So, and this is hotel guests, airline guests, this is tour operators, like every sector of the hospitality industry has been hit hard because of this. And there's many people, myself included, who have been able to successfully or unsuccessfully or still treading water to be able to survive life outside of the hospitality industry. But just because there's lower people working in the industry doesn't mean there's less people that want to be serviced by these people. Actually, it's quite the opposite. There's more people now that want to go on vacation. So there's some deep reflection that the hospitality industry has to go through. I apologize. This is more of a tangent than I thought it would be. But so that is number 3 reason. So as you're preparing for summer travel, there's a couple things you need to be aware of. So when we're preparing to go to the airport, I have been hearing, and I don't have any summer travel plans, so I don't know if that's really a good thing or a bad thing. I think right now it might be a good thing for me personally, but pack your patience and allot yourself a lot of time for things to be going on. Make sure that you are leaving at the earliest possible flight that you can to avoid any delays. I think the first thing is to make sure to pack some patience and be fully aware of what is going on now, because what you may have experienced in the most recent years, and especially prior to COVID, things were easier and less challenging. And because of all these challenges that are happening or occurring right now, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So what do we need to do? We need to prepare ourselves to make it easier on us and to have a better experience while we are traveling. So packing patience, always being kind, observing gratitude, because it is a luxury to even be able to travel, even if it's just you're RVing around the country or you're taking a road trip around the country. That is a luxury that many people still are not able to afford to do right now. So pack that in mind, 1. And then 2, you need to anticipate doing things much more in advance than what you normally would. So instead of getting to the airport 2 hours for domestic, 3 hours for international, consider getting to the airport 3 to 4 hours, because that is how far behind. Not only are you waiting in line to check your bag, if you need to be checking in a bag, which, because I have special needs, I typically, unless like it's a very short stay, I typically will be checking in a bag. And so there's not a lot of people at the airport to check the bags. There's not a lot of bag handlers to take them like to the planes and around on the back end. So you want to get there super in advance of your flight so that your bag makes it with you. Another little pointer, and I've heard about this, I haven't personally bought one just yet, but I'm considering doing that because I will be flying in the fall, is to purchase, I don't know what they're called with Apple, but they're these little tile things. It's called a tile. You can buy it off of Amazon. It's really a Bluetooth tracker. So you can put it into your bags. And I know with many of the airlines now, they have the apps and you can track the bags. But for any reason that the baggage handlers are not tracking the bags and scanning them in like they should, at least having something like a tile in your bag can give you a little bit of peace of mind that you know exactly where your bag is. So pretty much with Bluetooth, it tracks where your bag is. And the tile does have an app so that you can actually track where your bag is if you ever happen to be separated from it or gets lost somewhere. So that is one pointer. Also, if you're checking in, if you are fortunate enough that you don't need to check in, then go right to the TSA. And speaking of TSA, if you do not have pre-check, if you do not have clear, man, are you going to be standing in a long line. And I know even the Orlando International Airport, which is my home airport, recently did something where you can even make reservations now for the general boarding line. And I had attempted to do that for my aunt that left earlier this month in June, but she said it didn't really work because when she went there, they wouldn't let her go through. So I'm not really sure what happened there. But check if you don't have anything like pre-check or clear or global entry, which gives you pre-check. Check to see if the airport that you're traveling to, through, from offer something like that, where you can make a reservation and have like some sort of priority line, so you're just not standing around in the airport with the general public. Make sure again to get the first flight out, because if there happen to be any delays, it's going to be much easier for you to catch a subsequent flight later on in the day than to catch like one of the later ones and then have to be stuck wherever you're at for another extra night. That being said as well, especially to my fellow cruisers, or if you are starting like some sort of tour abroad or whatever, I normally will say get there a day in advance. So if your tour like starts on the 10th, you leave on the 8th because you'll take the overnight and arrive on the 9th so that you're all refreshed for the 10th. Now I'm going to say leave on the 7th. So leave 2 days in advance, again, to give you that cushion and wiggle room in case you encounter delays that make you miss flights, that make you miss the long haul flights. And this has happened to a couple of colleagues that I know as well. Now, when we're comparing like ocean and river cruising, it's a little bit easier river cruising because normally on river cruising, they're not like going terribly far out. So it's not, or they're not going terribly far out the first day. Like on the first, like day one of your cruise, you're typically overnighting in whatever home port you're at. Whereas if you were doing that and you were leaving like from Athens, Greece, you just missed the ship because the ship's going to another island in Greece. And so, you know, bonus points for like going on a river cruise. But that's why you want to give yourself a little bit of extra time so that you don't miss like that departure area in the port of cruising. Take the first flight. And I know like this just causes even longer travel times en route, but that is also one of the good things about arriving a little bit early is that you get to rest, recover, and recharge before, especially your cruise, or a land tour does start. So give yourself the gift of extra time. So we've talked a little bit about the baggage situation, time, bring snacks. I know not a lot of people think about that, but bring snacks, bring like the extra battery packs with you. Make sure they are charged just in case wherever you're at, you can't charge it, or you're just needing some extra juice because your plans may have changed throughout the day. Like just plan ahead for different things that could occur and could happen. I think those are really the biggest things, because now I'm drawing a blank in my head, but I think those are really the biggest things right now. And to treat the workers with a lot of patience, no matter if that's like the flight attendant, the person that's checking you in at your hotel, the tour guides. Again, like a lot of people are going to be overworked this summer. I am so feeling for my hospitality workers because I cannot imagine, like I remember those days of working like 15, 16 hours, 6-7 days a week, like doing 15-day binges. It is tough. So even if you are frustrated, you know, really a lot of these challenges, the frontline worker has nothing to do with. Like it is the top level executives that like are the ones that are making the decisions, and even a non-decision is a decision. So, yeah, just be very empathetic to the people who are trying to get you to your dream vacation. The ones that are trying to provide you this amazing food and beverage experience, but so-and-so didn't order the right thing, or the right thing ran out because they didn't anticipate it being so busy. There's just so many different factors that we need to pack our extra patience this year. And I'm hoping that things get better in the sense of like, there's a lot of things that become automated in the future. Like I'm trying to think of things that can be automated, which would be like your room check-in process. Now, you know, there's all those kiosks that happen, when you're going to the airport to check you into your flight. even your cruise. I feel like checking into your cruise could be another thing. They're doing all like these speedy checkouts. I saw somebody making a complaint, like speedy checkouts, self-checkouts at Walmart, but there's no way to like return an item. So it'll be interesting to see like how AI, which kind of freaks me out a little bit, but that's a whole other thing, but how advanced it's going to need to become, because a lot of people aren't working these quote unquote like blue collar frontline type of jobs anymore, because not only of everything that I also mentioned, but it is just so stressful to be in that situation and with people who act like jerks around you. Ugh. That's why I say, please be nice to the people who are there. They're only trying to do their job. And now, I know, like, there are a couple bad eggs, but that is like few and far between compared to the ones that really want to do a great job and make sure that you're having a fantastic time on whatever product that it is. All right, so that I will conclude with there. If you have any questions, of course, you can shoot me an email, rita@ritaventures.net. But I hope this has been a little bit helpful with setting some expectations when you are traveling this summer from a travel advisor like myself. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for joining me on the Cruise Retreat podcast. Please subscribe and leave the show a rating so more team and community leaders like yourself can get access to these episodes. See you next week.